As I'm doing a 160 kilo bench press for an ego like state, even though I do not promote any ego lifting, doing it where I activate slow glycolytic fibers within my own pectorals, where I'm trying to activate specific trapezoid, trapezius and branchialis triceps. Sorry for the inconvenience in communication. And as I was maxing out my own shoulder variation as I'm going on a minimal bulk where I'm trying to gain 80 kilos within my own frame and my own size, so I completely maxed out the shoulder press movement where I use and where I try to also activate specific shoulder coordinates within the shoulder itself, the front deltoid, the left deltoid, and the inner deltoid. But I specifically max out specific machines, and then after maxing out the specific machines, I do a lot of variation in within the movement and within the type of style and the type of format style of training that I go for in terms of like a musculatory enhancement or a skeletal enhancement when it comes to training for this specific compartment within the training style and the training method on its own, or the training methodology. As I also train tricep, only I train tricep for branchialis effects within the tricep, where I try to activate the branchialis, not the fulcrum, but I'm trying to partake in a specific frequency in the back of the tricep where I could activate the tricep, because the tricep is the whole compartment and the whole prefrontal musculatory group in within the whole bicep, because certain compartments and certain forms of training within the fulcrum lever, and the fulcrum lever within the lever and the particular frequency that's needed to activate the tricep and the bicep branchialis and tricep, as I coordinately train probably 4 muscle groups in one training session. But I do particularly train where I prefer training like an Arnold style type training, but that's more of how Mike Menenzo would say, that is preferably probably training for aerobic athletes or cardiovascular athletes that participate in fast glycolytic movements in within their own cardiovascular state and their cardiovascular state, where how they could use specific parts of the lower instrument and the lower vessel to move at a predominant speed. But I use both methodologies in my own aesthetic. As you see, I was training this specific machine where I was trying to also utilize the pectorals. I don't have any vascularity because I'm going under a specific bulk just to try to gain specific states of see, so I was just trying to activate the pectoral major, basically within the type of training style that I was going for right here. And it's truly soothing, obviously, but then when you train for a state where you're trying to train and lose a specific amount of body fat, it's also meticulously enjoyable too, because you started to see specific changes within your own epicranial norris and your own epicranial and your cranial, basically your own face, and how the face goes through changes on its own. And I was doing a decline bench press where I was training basically again the pectorals, but the lower pectoral major, as I had to reinstate that lower part in rearation in terms of what I'm trying to stay. But this is the meticulous training style that I go for. I train 4 muscle groups per coordinate and per efficiency and per movement. And this is the type style training that I prefer, but I also prefer to be training in a non-hybrid state. I wouldn't state it as a hybrid form of training, but I would state it as a style of training where I'm training within uh, strength skeletal to strength to skeletal system to calcium ion effect, where I'm trying to strengthen motor to nerve connection through motor neurons. When motor neurons move and interact with matter, in terms of strengthening my skeletal system and strengthening the bone structures of my skeletal system in every state possible for prolonged longevity and prolonged youth. So that's the purpose of training this type style and type of recreational process, where I'm trying to recreate fast motor nerve movement in my motor movement in everyday life, like as partaking in walks, partaking in other states of training. So I usually do decline for like 50 kg, do 50 kilos, but I do 45 because it's about the contraction that it's about the contraction that you have within your musculatory system and within your musculatory exertion when you spike in cortisol and you trying to spike specific hormonal effectors and hormonal states within your own like organism or your own human interface. But this is basically the type of style training that I go for when I train at chest, tricep, shoulder, and bicep too, but then I didn't add the bicep videos. So this is basically, I can't call it type Chinese. I can't call it that particularly, but it's a training style that I truly go for, and the type of training style that I go for on a per usual basis. Only when I'm trying to gain a specific amount of weight, but obviously when you drop body fat percentage and you drop body fat on within your own organism, your own human interface, it's only natural and mutual to lose muscle on its own. And I do not prefer consuming higher catabolic and nuclear chemical reactional stress within the organism in terms of like consuming highly additive meals at a higher sequence. So this is why I prefer consuming one meal a day, because it literally replenishes the cells, replenishes the human entity, and gives you a higher form of clarity. I only train in this particular way when I'm just trying to train to gain a higher weight within my own efficiency, because I've been noticing that training 4 days a week is very effective, but eating one meal a day is only effective for protocols in terms of prolonged youthful effects in your own human organism. So different styles of training and methodology should be partaken in.